What a lovely day for a barn find in the middle of nowhere, Northamptonshire. And if you watched one of my videos last year back in the summer with a bright yellow Ferrari 250 Restomod owned by a lovely bloke called Will. Will said, I've got a number of other vehicles, bit of a hoarder. I tend to buy stuff and then kind of forget about it or never finish it. Well, he said, you must come back and have a look one day, and that day is today. And this is a barn. It's been in his family since the war, since the 40s. And it's full of interesting metal. One car in particular, a Ferrari that's very special indeed. So we're going to have a look. Today's the day. I'm Jonny Smith. Welcome to the Late Break Show. Will, I hope you're in there. He is in there. Well, it's hard to know where to start, but I thought we'll start on the left and work our way around.
Why not?
To the right, because there's so much in here. What is this building? That's my first question.
Well, this was my dad's aircraft hangar. So
Wow.
There's a grass field out here.
Yeah.
And he used to keep 3 aircraft in here. Tiger Moth.
At the end of your childhood house garden.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's a wing off a Miles Messenger.
This?
Yeah. So that's a 1946 wonderful wooden British single-engine monoplane.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that was a wing.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we were going to just talk about these. No, from the back.
Yeah.
When I saw a little sight of it, I thought it was an AC Cobra.
Well, it is the same sort of shape.
I mean, it is so similar, but it's
Yeah.
obviously about half the size of an AC Cobra. Why have you got 2? There's 2 here. They look identical to me.
Well, this one, it's a Berkeley
Yeah.
SE492, and it has a 3-cylinder, 2-stroke engine in it.
3-cylinder.
It's super lightweight,
Yeah.
300 and something kilos. You can lift the car up, I think. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's got a monocoque aluminium chassis. It's a fantastic little thing.
It reminds me of my little Honda,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
because it feels like, so 3-cylinder, air-cooled, 2-stroke, so it could be a bit of a screamer. I suppose for the purposes of this video, remember that Will likes to drive fast. You've raced a lot of stuff over the years,
Yes,
and
yeah.
there's a couple of other race cars in here. So the idea with this is build a race car.
Yeah, it'd be great at Goodwood, wouldn't it?
It would be awesome if I could get in it. I don't
It
know.
could possibly win.
Wow. So these are both from America.
They're both from America, different customers, different sellers rather.
Yeah.
One came with its engine, one came without. I mean,
We could just go home now. I'm quite pleased with these. I think what's bizarre about, I mean, it's lovely because the sun's coming out. And
Yeah.
There's no electricity in here, so we've got to bring some lights with us. This is stuff that you've sort of accumulated because I know you're hopelessly devoted to projects.
that's it. Yeah. I could say I'm addicted. Yes. Yeah.
And I know that you suffer from that disease of being a bit of a magpie and going, well, that would be good, and then
Yeah, you get the hots for something.
yeah.
Yeah. So you've got a Berkeley obsession and then a Bristol obsession.
Oh, I mean, it's the ideas. The ideas are all there, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah. I mean, it's just for fun, isn't it? Not a business. It's
Yeah. I can't believe that's an aeroplane. And it's a giant bellows.
Well, yeah, we used to have a farm down in the middle of the village here, and that was the bellows from the blacksmith's shop.
That's
Pre-war.
huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next to the Barclays, you've got 2 Bristols actually, haven't you? You've got one just there. I knew this was a Bristol immediately. They are very, very unique.
Absolutely.
I suppose the earlier Bristols are actually very tasteful. I think the latter Bristols are a bit too weird.
Yeah, they're not quite my cup of tea either.
No.
But,
What's the deal with these then, Will? So it's obviously not got an engine, and
no engine.
the other one hasn't either.
No engine, no gearbox in either of them. So this is a Bristol 403.
Yeah.
So 1952 or something like that.
Yeah.
it's more or less the same as the first, as the 401, just a few improvements.
Yeah.
I think they made about 275 of these.
Is that all?
Yeah, and probably 300 or 400 of 401s.
Gosh.
So they're pretty rare. They're fabulously built. Wonderful. Well, Bristol was an aircraft company, as you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see evidence of the aircraft engineering and quality everywhere you look. So these, basically, people used to sell the engines, or want the engines out of.
Right.
They're used in Fraser Nash Le Mans replicas. They're used in Coupe Bristol racing cars.
Right.
Various sports and
So
racing
historic
cars.
race cars.
Historic race cars. And so there was a time when the engines were worth more than the car.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is all aluminium, isn't it?
All aluminium, fabulous design.
Yeah, really
all
aero.
its interiors in there, all its instruments, all it's missing, engine and gearbox. So I've got the engines, got the gearboxes, got the car, haven't yet had the time. So that's
So historic race cars,
fabulous.
basically
road car.
of the period Restomod
Yeah,
almost.
exactly. Yeah.
That's a great
Period
idea.
correct. Fab.
So it's on the list.
It is on the list. They're all on the list. They're all on the list.
Your list must be
None of
amazing.
these in here am I fed up with.
Okay, okay. Oh, I mean, that was going to be my next question. Is this your only shed?
No way. Okay. This is the tip of the iceberg.
Oh,
I'm
is it?
afraid,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
we'll have to come back another
Well,
week.
you've seen some of the containers, haven't you?
I have seen some of the containers. Let's have a look at the other Bristol.
Okay. So,
Right.
Bristol 406.
Yeah.
175 odd built of these.
Is that all?
Yeah,
Didn't realise Bristol production numbers were so low.
Oh, amazing, over several years. So this is the shape they developed after the 403.
Yeah.
There was a 404, a short wheelbase,
Yeah.
sporty sort of thing, but these were gentlemen's cruisers. That was the idea, you know,
Yeah.
managing director's car. But
What's-
again, no engine.
I was going to say, there's nothing going on
Yeah, no
here.
engine, no gearbox. Same reason as the 403.
And you bought both these as is, engineless.
Yeah, separately, of course. This one I think came from Scotland. Again, cheapest chips.
Wow.
So that's good. Interior, you can see all that.
Yeah.
Still in.
I just
Instruments here.
I just can't believe that people would just take the engines out of Bristols and kind of leave them for dead, really.
It's all about how much money stuff is worth. When stuff's worth nothing,
Yeah.
people don't have that respect for it.
I know before we started filming, Will brought over this little book. In this book, you bought a Lamborghini Miura.
Oh yeah, 9,000 quid.
Oh my gosh, $9,000.
May 1988 up in Scotland. A friend of mine remembered walking past it several years earlier in a driveway, and he mentioned it. We got straight in a car and shot up there.
With just an address, because this is obviously pre-sat nav, pre all that stuff.
Yeah. And there was the car still in the driveway. In front of it was an old wooden garage with a Ford Pop inside. And the owner, unfortunately, was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he just hadn't got it together to put it inside.
So it was rotting.
It was absolutely rotting. We went down the pub with him to try and buy it, ended up completely pissed, and he was straight as a die. Didn't manage to do the deal with him, and had to go back a fortnight later and have another go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we go from the Bristol, and I'm noticing, I mean, I know it's covered in cobwebs and poor things on its tyres, and it's...
Lovely grey leather interior, isn't it?
There's some very cool touches to it, though.
Yeah.
These little indicators on the roof, I love these.
Yeah.
And
I think you spotted the cool badge as well, didn't you?
I spotted, the little 406 badge down here. What I love about coming to see you is people like you, is that the interest in cars as you get older just keeps expanding.
Yeah.
Because you think, I'm only into X and Y, And then I turn up here and suddenly I go, bloody hell, Bristol.
Yeah, yeah.
What a great idea to put a period V8
Yeah.
that has some relationship with the company in these sorts of cars. What a great idea. I've realised we walked past another car with an E-type Jag bonnet kind of covering it.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Morgan.
Right. You can see it doesn't look like a normal Morgan, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Doors are straight across the top.
Yeah, this is a strange line, isn't it?
The screen's got those strange pillars on the side.
Yeah.
So that is the luxury Morgan. That's what they called the drop head coupe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were probably a bit more expensive than a normal. That's a +4 with a TR engine.
Yeah.
So that would have been more expensive than the base model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I lift the lid?
See that? Yeah. So we've run the engine.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty.
Yeah.
That looks good sound under there.
I probably won't get round to restoring that. That one could actually be for sale.
I love no. So as we're going through this, I feel like we're making progress.
Yeah, some realism.
Yeah, am I sort of counselling you as we go? So you've almost admitted that this might never happen.
That's right.
Without selling. Okay.
There's a Morgan chassis next to it. That
What?
Z.
Oh, this thing here.
Yeah, that's a Morgan +4 chassis, which belongs to another Morgan over here, which is a two-seater.
Oh, that's a car.
Yeah, that's the ash frame with the body.
I just walked past that when we
Got
went
the original paintwork.
So that's going to stay.
Yeah.
That's going to go.
Yeah. The 4.4 racer is in one of the containers up the other end, yeah.
I just thought that was a pile of doors and pallets, and then I realised it's another car on its side.
Yeah.
It must be mad. So you grew up with a dad who would go to the bottom of the garden and fly a biplane.
Yeah.
You were never going to grow up normal.
Probably not. Probably not.
That's just awesome. That's just
Well, it was normal to us.
I suppose it was.
Didn't think anything of it.
Bloody hell, Will. This, I mean, it's kind of like an Art Deco Batmobile or something.
Well, it is, in fact, isn't it?
I mean, look at these wings.
This
shape is just...
Yeah, this is a bit special.
Bloody hell, wow.
If you're talking about boring stuff like how much stuff is worth,
yeah,
you've got your Ferrari 250 GTOs, pretty much up there. And not far below that, you've got the Alfa Romeo 8C 2900 Touring Mille Miglia.
Yes.
Same shape.
Right.
This is actually, it's called a 6C 2500.
Right, yeah.
So it's actually 1940.
Gosh, it looks amazing.
And the style, they built, I think, 1939, 1940. They built 3 or 4, and they called them 6C Corsa. Corsa meaning racing in Italian.
Yeah.
And this is that sort of shape.
I mean, it's all aluminium, isn't it?
All aluminium, yeah.
I mean, the shapes are...
It's mind-blowing. You really need to stand back and look at it and see.
I know, we need it deserves to be wheeled out on its own, doesn't it?
Next year we'll go for a blast in it, won't we?
I'll hold you to that. This is going to be stunning when it's finished.
Well, and quick. So it's all independent suspension.
Yeah.
Needle roller bearings on the front. Amazing, like the Grand Prix cars.
Yeah.
The engine is a straight 6, 2.5 litre twin overhead cam.
Wow.
The original 6E Corsas were normally aspirated.
Yeah.
We couldn't resist designing and making a gear-driven supercharger set up for it. So I'm looking for 200, 220 brake horsepower on petrol as a road car.
And the weight, it's going to be light.
It's going to weigh...
It's a big car, but it's going to be light, right?
It's going to weigh well under a tonne,
Yeah, lemon heck.
Fabulous thing.
This is why I had to come here and have another chat with Will about one of his sheds. I'd love to stand and just look at this car, but we actually do have, and we still haven't got to, I guess, the kind of the party piece. I'm staring at it over there, that blimmin' Ferrari. Gosh. But we've got to get through a couple of race cars first. I mean, I make it sound like a chore. It's really not. So this is the race car corner, Will.
Yep, it is all racer. Well, that's a road car as well as a racer.
Yeah.
This is fun. It's called a Frontenac Ford sprint car.
Frontenac.
So it's basically a VSCC race car these days in England. So Model T chassis, Model T engine, Model A back axle, I think. Can't remember.
It's a good looking thing.
It's a great looking thing.
Wow. So have you have raced this before?
We've raced it with the single cam.
Yeah.
But for the twin overhead cam, we are going to go a bit bonkers. I think I'm going to make a 5-bearing crankshaft, because you can machine and bolt a steel cradle in the bottom of the block to support 2 extra bearings. They did it back in the day.
Okay.
So then you can rev it. Then you can utilise the breathing power of the 16-valve head. And fantasy-wise, could it become the fastest normally aspirated Model T in the world? Take it to Bonneville? I don't know.
I think you do know.
I
think that's the thing.
We've got to have a go, haven't we?
It's on the hit list, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be really good fun.
No, I know that. I know that's a Morgan 3-wheeler.
Yep.
I love those.
That's a Matchless Super Sports, so air-cooled V-twin. Fabulous thing.
Very cool. Just casually sat there propped up on a plank
the engine's out. We do have a little supercharger that we might put on it if we can't resist it. I don't know.
The thing behind you.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
let's see.
Yeah, so this is yellow chassis, blue body, Riley.
Right. CCS, Colin Clifford Special. Colin built this and raced pretty successfully in it. I, of course, decided to supercharge it.
Yeah, of course.
And then and I started doing it before I really knew as much as I know now. And I didn't get it right, and then it sort of languished and I haven't had time to finish it. But this one is on the soon-to-be-done hit list.
Okay.
I hope it's going to be out racing within 2 years.
I mean, we'll just gloss over these. Oh my gosh, they're so light.
Magnesium. They've never been, I don't know where they came from. They've never been drilled even.
Don't know where they came from.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, Will, I don't really know what this is. Okay. I can't tell what it is.
So what sort of engine's in there?
Is that a 6 or an 8?
6.
V6.
Yeah. Can you read on the side of the cam covers or valve covers?
Hang on, let me get
it's on this side, perhaps. Yeah.
Hang on, let me get my torch out. Lancia.
Yeah, Lancia.
Oh, it's embossed.
There you go.
Embossed. Lancia.
So that's the classic Lancia V6.
I suppose for younger people
who
don't know the legacy of Lancia.
Yeah.
Lancia was up there with the most exotic, most technologically advanced of its time.
Lancia were beating Ferrari in Grand Prix racing, and when they went bust, and they handed over their whole team of single-seaters, which were then rebranded as Ferraris afterwards.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they won. Fabulous cars.
So pay attention to your Lancia history. I've got to ask the question, Will. How do you know how many cars you have right now?
Approximately.
And?
I think about 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I forgot the TVR.
Oh, TVR there.
We haven't even looked at the TVR yet. We'll have a quick. So this is less than half.
Yeah, I mean, but some of them are goers. They're not all projects.
Okay. this is it, and this is the reason why we had to do this. There's a number of interesting cars, some of which aren't even here, but this.
Yeah, you like this one, don't you?
I mean, just look at it. Like I said in the intro, I'm not going to kid you and say that the car has been sat here for 50 years, but this is an incredibly special car, Will. I remember you mentioning it to me in passing. I didn't quite realise how much bird poo would be on it. So 1952.
The body is 1952.
1952.
Yeah. So it's made by Vignale, who carried on for years afterwards.
Yeah.
But they made most of the early competition Ferrari bodies.
Right. So they were a coach builder like Ghia and all those sorts of things?
They were, but they were very small scale.
Okay.
They didn't use body bucks or anything like that. They were drawn up and made by eye. So this side of the car is quite different. If you put a profile on it, it'll be different to that side. It could be out by an inch.
Because it,
well,
no
basically, they would just look at it and go, oh, bellissimo, or whatever, and that's how it worked. So each one of these early Vignale cars is different.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, not only is it going to be slightly different shape, but they'll all have slightly different features. It really was a proper work of art.
What's the Vignale badge down there?
Yeah, that's it.
That's beautiful.
Original badges.
So you're having a period accurate replica chassis made by the people that originally made it?
Oh, they've done it, I've got it.
Oh, you've already got it?
We've got it back already, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we could have made it ourselves, but it just gives it that little bit more cachet.
You're trying to assemble a kind of Maranello jigsaw puzzle, aren't you?
Exactly. And the more original parts I can use rather than repro parts, the better.
I'm going to have a quick look round the car.
Yeah, do that.
In fact, let's wheel it out, because we'll see if we can get it out into the sort of sunlight a bit.
Right. So we're going to try and push it out.
Well, we've got to, Will.
Okay.
We've got to. Do you know what's weird? It's got some quite sexy dust on it.
Yep.
You might better sell that. We're all right.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
Mind the TVR. Look at the shape of this thing. Look at it. It's dead head on. The shot where the camera is. You must have just gone, wow. I
did. When I saw it in the flesh.
Yeah.
It was right in the middle of the auction actually at Monaco.
Yeah.
And I just got to have it, you know. There we go, emerging into the light.
Look, the sun's coming out. It wants to see. It hasn't been out in the sun for a while, I'm guessing.
Did I tell you about the headlight, Johnny?
It's got one eye. What's the deal with it?
Well, it had a cracked one. So these are all the original lights. And the fantastic thing about this is, you know, all of these lenses and stuff like that are 1952. So you can see on there, what does it say? Marshall. Equilux, I should think.
Yeah, Equilux, that's right.
So this one was cracked.
Yeah.
So then, you know, you put in an eBay search, wait for a few months, one turns up. So I do have this one, I just haven't...
It almost looks like you've intentionally done that to make it look barn-finding. But we haven't, I promise.
Yeah.
But I mean, this shape is... So when you bought the car, you done some historical digging on it.
Yes.
Because I mean, these are always going to have been sold to interesting people.
Yeah. Here's some history.
Okay. I'm down with history.
Yeah. Marcel Massini. He's the guy. This book's by him. He's found out more info since he wrote it on all of these cars. But the 166 originally made 8th of March 1950.
1950, right.
Sold, not with this body.
Not with this body, yeah.
Sold to a guy in Rome who did the Targa Florio and the Mille Miglia.
Wow.
Crashed it.
Okay.
1952, rebodied by Vignale as a coupe.
So it sat for 2 years post-crash?
Well, no, probably, who knows when it was crashed, 51. Yeah. So then it was seen in USA in 1965.
Oh,
Disappeared in Texas for 16 years.
okay. Is this yours here?
This is mine.
That's a photo.
Yeah, there, and there.
Interesting.
So here's when it was owned by John Giles of the J. Giles Band. Do you remember that guy?
Yes. Biggest hit, Angel in the Centerfold.
That's it. My Angel is a centerfold.
So he owned this?
He owned this.
Okay.
I made, we got a wheel company.
Yeah.
We made some wheels for him for another car. So I got to know him.
Yeah.
And suddenly made the connection. So we spoke about it.
Yeah.
He sent me photos of it when he had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Very nice guy. Dead now, unfortunately. So it's a 1952 body.
Yeah.
And then the question is, what do we do with the rest of it?
Yeah.
We've got the chassis, got the engine, all the parts, got the gearbox, got the back axle.
Where is all that? Is that in another?
That's in the containers up at Project Heaven.
Okay.
Even the instruments, this has got later instruments in it from a 250 GT.
Okay.
So these would be 1960-ish instruments.
Yeah.
So I've had to find the proper Valia instruments that are appropriate to this car for the 225.
It actually looks really good in there.
It does look good.
I mean, actually, the paint looks really good underneath all this
It
dirt
is. It's lovely.
and dust.
Yeah.
It's
Have you looked? Have you had to open the door?
Well, I haven't. I'm gonna have a look.
That side you've got to go. I'll put this away. Vignale's own door handle, you see?
They're
Aluminium.
They are amazing. Gosh, it's actually really, really lovely. Seats are remarkably good.
Well, we've been feeding. Obviously, we don't want the leather to go off, so Bernadette's been down here feeding the seats to. But they're fantastic.
They
aren't
are. They really are. Yeah.
I mean, how many cars have got their 1952 interiors still in them?
Now, this door pocket actually is really rather elegant.
Bakelite on the fitting there, is it?
I think that is
Proper
actually.
50s stuff.
When I open the door, this looks like really thick glass, quite chunky.
Perspex, weight saving.
Is that what it is?
Absolute. So it was a competition car. This car,
Yeah.
when it's finished, it's going to be about 900 kilos.
Okay.
280 brake maybe at 8,000 RPM.
I mean, it's going to be
At 3 litres.
it's going to be a bit of a weapon.
It's going to be a flyer, yeah.
So that's the thing. Not only is it gorgeous, but it has actually got race credentials.
Yeah.
Under a ton, 280 odd horsepower.
Yeah.
No wonder you're into it.
Exactly. Drum brakes,
Yeah.
huge drum brakes.
I bet they are huge.
Because so it's got 16-inch wheels, so that allows the bigger size drums.
Yeah.
So the previous models, the 212, were on 15-inch, and the 225 went up to 16.
What's that trigger where the
Oh, that'll be the bonnet catch.
is that what it is? It's a beautiful. Looks like a gun.
Yeah,
trigger.
aluminium, all aluminium.
It's right-hand drive.
Yes. Oh, didn't you know about that?
No.
No, most European competition cars up to the 60s were right hookers
Were they?
because most of the circuits are clockwise. So the driver wanted to be on the inside of the bend to judge the apex just right.
Why didn't I know that?
So, well, you can't know everything, can you?
I mean, because they never had right-hand drive cars in Italy.
Not on the roads.
Not
no,
on the road, but
because it's a competition car.
okay.
Yeah.
Is this a keeper?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as long as I'm healthy enough to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know you like to drive.
I do.
And I think this could be possibly one of the.
It's my favourite car. It's the
Is
best
it?
thing for me that I've had.
Is it the combination of the elegant looks, but with the sort of competition underpinnings? Because that's the thing.
It's something about the early Ferraris because it was quite a big. It was a big little factory, so it had a lot of people working, doing fantastic stuff and producing them in low numbers.
Yeah. Has this body been modified since 52?
Oh yeah, and not the body itself. John Giles first sent me photos of when he had the car.
Yeah.
And straight away I noticed it had a aluminium surround round here, polished.
Okay.
It had some aluminium ducts here. It had an aluminium,
Like a waistband trim or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
quite high level,
Yeah.
and it didn't have an external fuel filler. So
Right.
quite a common thing of the early Vignale bodies was they'd have the fuel tank in the back, and you would have to open the boot to get the fuel filler out, fill it.
So no neck, no filler
No
neck, really.
No filler neck.
Okay. And this has had one added at some point.
Yeah, but in the photos I'm going to show you, have you got? Do you want to have a look at these?
Yeah.
I can show you.
You've got them
yeah,
in the.
I've got it
It's
here.
got them in the Skoda. All discerning exotic car buyers have a Skoda VRS estate, which you can't see.
So this book is
Bloody
just
hell.
fantastic.
That's a chunky
This
book.
was my Christmas present from Deanna this year. It just came out. So super finds. Corrado Cupolini was an Italian guy who started searching out and recording and buying and trading
Yeah.
old sports cars and race cars
Yeah.
from the 70s. I was reading through the book. What do we come to? But let me find
I
it.
don't want to disturb the. I don't know. It's quite nice.
Oh, here we go.
Other,
Described as a Ferrari 212 Inter. It's this car.
and that's this.
It was actually, should have said 166, but he didn't know.
And so those are those embellishments.
There's the strip along the side.
Yeah.
There's the chrome around the front. There's the apertures.
Okay.
And
So hang on a minute. As we're talking about the history of this car, Will,
yeah,
effectively this has been barn found twice.
yes.
I mean, this is a barn find video. But don't get me wrong. He knew it was in there. It's just that Will's got so many projects he kind of forgets about them. It's been tucked away. But so this emerged from a barn years back.
Well, look what it says. A surprise find near Monza.
Right. I mean, seriously, what a good-looking car.
So I think I'm tempted to put these bits back.
Yeah.
I won't do to start with. I want to get it going and drive it.
Yeah.
But,
I would not even clear the dust. I'd clean the windows.
yeah, I think that's going a bit far. I mean, I don't clean cars more than once a year if I can help it. But you like a nice rear end, John?
I do. Such tiny little jewel-like lights.
Yeah, yeah. This is what I like.
And quick release boot, yeah.
Well, not just quick release, lightweight.
Yeah,
That's the whole point of it.
of course. And that's the weird thing about this car is, even if you weren't interested in going fast or competing, which it's capable of
Yeah.
or was,
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing to just stare at.
Yeah.
From every angle. This angle, the front dead head on is just amazing. I'm just really, really quite amazed by
it's
it.
just an amazing era because not only were they beautiful, but they were all different. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that every one of these is at least slightly different to every other one
Yeah.
is just mind-blowing to me. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, like you said before, I think, is who's got the Ferrari with the most pedigree? The person that took this body off,
Yeah,
kept the chassis and the engine,
yeah,
but put a replica body of the original
yeah,
on.
yeah,
So that body hasn't got any history,
yeah,
but the running gear has.
yeah,
And you've got a body with a lot of history,
yeah,
but without a chassis or an engine. Well, you have now.
yeah, yeah.
So
The-
who's right and who's wrong, as it were?
There's no right and
or
wrong
who
to it,
cares?
is there? I don't care.
That's the thing.
But I'm dead happy. But what I like, it's not even the history that it's so much from 1952. It's just the fact that this was made by one or two craftsmen
Yeah,
in just such a fabulous way.
yeah. I love the fact that I've probably driven past this barn a number of times in the last 20 years. No idea that something so special, well, a number of cars so special like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Just sitting here gathering dust, getting pooed on, actually.
Oh, some of them get finished, you know. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you never touch, but I think that's the thing about this particular episode of Barn Finds is like, you've almost forgotten how much you've collected. You know, over Will's shoulder here is this Aero engine and propeller.
Yeah.
In fact, we haven't even talked about the TVR under the cover.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that it's V8 clearly.
It's V8. It's got alloy heads because this is not an FIA car, so we don't have to follow the old rules.
Yeah.
So the alloy heads means you can run higher compression.
Yeah.
And because it gets the heat away better. It's got a good camshaft, it's got a good carb, it's got a fantastic ignition system. Ed made a rather complicated exhaust. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. So it goes forward. The headers they collect and go forward.
Yeah, so they're equal length pipes, so that's very important for the power.
So this is just going to be a fun
road car.
Yeah.
It won't take much to finish it. Yeah, actually, now I've seen this again, having not looked at it for a long time, I think we better get it up there and get it going.
This is what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
He's remembered how good it was.
Yeah, thank goodness you came, Jonny. So, there we go.
It's funny, isn't it? You drive past these sorts of buildings or walk past them and you never really know what's behind the door. Little did I realise that something this special would be here. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I want to say a massive thank you to Will for letting me in and looking at the Ferrari and all the other amazing cars that are languishing in here. Do you know of anybody with a particularly interesting barn find? If you do, can you contact us on the Late Break Show? There's a link in the description below. I want to say a big thank you to Adrian Flux Insurance for sponsoring the Barn Find playlist. If you haven't already subscribed to the Late Break Show, go ahead and subscribe, I dare you. Thanks very much for watching.